Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is October 8th, 2018, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the week, nothing scheduled for today or tomorrow, but as Wednesday cooks up, we'll have some news coming out. However, on the back of last week's rally sell-offs, there's just a few points I want to make right before we start our review of our charts. Is that number one, oil retraces after major rally from last week to $77 a barrel. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And then the JSE, Johannesburg Stock Exchange, on the lower end of its trading range at 48,683, and it may even break down further. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Dow bounces off support at 26,384. We'll take a look at that. And then looking at the stocks, Tesla, Amazon, Facebook on key support levels, and looks like it's going to break down. Okay, so we'll take a look at that in just a moment. However, Apple is still very strong, and it sells off, but it does bounce off of a low of $220. We'll take a look at that as well. So let's see what's been happening in the market. So we're taking a look here at the Euro USD, and as you can see, it bounced off of our low of 114.73 to 115.06, whereas some of the other currencies versus the dollar bounce a little bit sharper. This looks like it's really dead in its waters. Look at that, just really very, very weak. So I'm inclined to think that we're going to test this 114.73 again. If not, we could even break it further down. So let's see if that actually freights later today. Looking at the Aussie USD jumping to that. Also lackluster of a bounce here. Whereas if we look at the GBP USD just a moment, we'll see that it did bounce much sharper. Looking at that, 131.02 is where we're holding in the GBP USD after a major sell-off from 132.90ish level, almost 133, down to 129. But you could see that the bounce is much sharper here versus where the euro and the Aussie is trading against the dollar. So suffice it to say, GBP is probably the strongest one here, or at least the most volatile versus the other two pairs. So, if we do continue to sell off against the dollar, I do believe that we can break down further, especially in the Aussie USD as it's been breaking further down. Now, looking at the commodities first, starting out with oil, okay, because that's really been the one in play. Let's just take a look at that in just a second. Let's see if we could get that up. There we go. All right, so it's trading at $73.834, below our retracement line. But as you could see, on a daily chart, we're still very strong. Now, these guys still think that we're going to go to $100 a barrel. That may still be so, but for right now, we're making a correction. Now, we can correct down to 72-ish level, but I don't think we're going to get back to the 70-ish level just yet. Okay, like looking at a monthly chart, just to give you a perspective of where we are, we at a resistance line. If you look here at a monthly chart, at this 75-ish level. Okay, so as long as we don't break this level, I think we can still continue trading between maybe 74 and 70-ish level. Okay, so that's something to consider as we consider trading that throughout the week. Now JSC, as you can see here, below its support level of 49,435, and looks like it's trading even lower. Okay, it's really dead on its lows right here at 48,683, and if it does continue to sell off, well, guess what? I think that we can have a further correction, which we haven't seen, to the 47,000 level. Okay, we haven't seen that in quite a while, so this correction may actually come as today's session begins. Looking at the Dow Jones, as you can see, we've bounced off of our lows here at 26,300-ish level, and we're trading right now at 26,479. Now, considering how far we've gone this year, this major sell-off is not much of a surprise, okay, especially as we're making double tops. And as we're going into this trading session, throughout this year between October and November is usually sell-off month. So I wouldn't be surprised if we even made a further correction down to 25,000, but ultimately between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, is generally a rally session. Okay, so generally they like to sell it off in October, November, and then rally it from November to December. So, if history has taught us anything, we may actually see that fruit as the week progresses. Now, looking at some of the stocks, if we look at Apple, that's a sharp bounce. We hit 220 and we're trading at 223 right now. Okay, but that's a sharp bounce after a major sell-off from 233 about 14 bucks. Okay, 13 bucks sell off and then a bounce is pretty good. Okay, but still very strong. If we look at a weekly chart, you can see we're at tops. Okay, however, if we does look like we're making a double top here, we may be trading in a range, and we would like to see that actually, you know, unfold itself before taking any major positions. Now, looking at Facebook, you could see we're breaking down at 157. We haven't been in this area since before our rally. And if we break this 152, well, we could sell off into the 120-ish level, okay, before we got to these major rally areas, okay? So, you know, nothing really new here, especially with Facebook, you know, where it's going to be facing some sort of regulatory, you know, body, either nationally in the United States or internationally. It's going to happen, all right? And that's going to be just a, you know, a product of time, and see how that actually forays. Now, looking at Amazon as well, selling off sharply to 1886, and we haven't been at these levels as well in quite a while. So you see some weakness in the market as there is some major sell-off. Now, looking at Tesla as well, at the bottom range here, okay, after bouncing up and then selling off to from 312 down to 260. Okay, now that's a major retracement. And if we do break this 261-ish level, we could see it correct itself into the lower 200-ish level. Okay, now jumping to a weekly chart, excuse me, you could see that a little bit more clearly, that if it does break these levels, 261, we can get back to the lower 200-ish level. But look at the volatility here. I mean, this is crazy. $312 down to 261 in just a matter of like a couple of days, you know, which is amazing kind of trading, especially for intraday scalpers. You know, this is really what you want to be looking for. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.